recently, a coworker asked me, why don't you capitalize on the whole Jedi thing? I mean, you have a sincere passion for it. Why are you doing this job instead? As this has been something of a theme for the past week, some people capitalizing on the whole idea of Jediism, I'm going to go ahead and address it. It is my belief that you should not sell spirituality unless it is for a very modest fee and happens to be your only form of income. Some of you may know that I'm published. What you may not know is that the proceeds, which amount to less than about $25 a year, if anything at all, goes towards the annual Jedi gatherings. It isn't very much, but it's something, and the idea for any future books that I do is that the proceeds will go to a different charity. So, for example, right now I have a book I'm thinking about writing, and I'm starting a little bit on it. I've actually asked for some ideas. If you have any questions that you might want answered in a book like that, go ahead and post them down at the bottom, and I'll see about trying to write up a mini lecture to go in there. But anyways, the idea is that will have funds go towards either childhood, oh my gosh, I can't talk today, childhood homelessness or childhood hunger in America. But I'm not going to take money from it at all. And that's kind of because I personally believe that if you're going to sell something that has something to do with spirituality and whatnot, it should go back towards helping other people. And that kind of comes from the whole Jedi thing as service, because that is a big thing that a lot of our different orders preach, is that you should give back. Well, not really give back. You should give to. While I don't accept payment for the form of service I provide in the spirituality sense, there is one that I do accept, and that's that I am in the military. But that's kind of where the difference is. And you can see with this how my Christian values mix in with my Jedi values. In Matthew 21, a story is told of how Jesus makes a scene and tells off business owners, stating, "You shall not make my Father's house into a house of trade." And this is the only time that you really see Christ get angry and throw things around and whatnot. The scene that you see in all the Christian movies where he's very, very irate. Because here you have people capitalizing on something that God wants for you to give to all. And it's not just something that you find in Christianity. You can also find it in Buddhism. Both Christ and Buddha sought to bring spirituality, a sense of spirituality, to everyone, whether they were poverty-stricken or rich. Didn't matter, anybody in between, etc. When tithing in the Abrahamic tradition, you're spoken of giving money so that, or they're spoken of giving money so that it will benefit other people in the long run. And that was the whole idea behind it. Well, if you kind of recall, there was a woman in one of the biblical stories, and she gave pennies. It wasn't much, and pennies isn't the exact term for the currency of the day, but we're just going to say pennies. So that's the idea. And everybody kind of looked at her and were like, she just gave some pennies, and that's all she gave. Oh, what a poor Jew. Well, no, because Christ looked at him and said, she gave more than all of you. She didn't have much. She pretty much gave all that she had. And you guys are just kind of tossing pennies, thinking that you're giving more back. That's not the case. She genuinely wants to help other people. You just kind of see it as, God told me to, so I said, sure. And that's kind of the thing there, isn't it? She was giving too, because that's how she really felt or that's what she felt really needed to happen. Not because she felt obligated to God, but because she really believed that it was necessary to help other people that were less fortunate than her. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I think that I believe that it's something that we should take with us into the Jedi path and forge a new understanding of this very concept in future dealings with our spirituality. If you happen to have a publication, I would encourage people that have their own form of income. You are a doctor, or you basically have enough income to do your own, to be able to keep you and your family afloat, then I would encourage you to do what I've done. I'm not going to tell you you have to, but I would encourage you to. And that's not take the money for yourself and give it to something else. And this is something that a lot of our orders have also kind of done. There are Jedi orders out there that do take donations, but those donations amount to very minimal, and they put all that money back towards their website. Then you have some places where they don't even take donations, and it's the site administrator that pays for it all up front. And on occasion, they might have somebody in the order that offers to pay them. I've actually offered to pay one of our site administrators, and he's told me, don't worry about it, it's okay, I got it. And it's because they really do believe in what we're doing there for those different groups. And then some have free orders. Well, this is kind of also something that I like about our community, in that we don't have a brick and mortar location. Because the more I think about it, every time that question comes up, hey, should we get a Jedi temple up? I realize that our cost is very low by being on the internet, by doing what Heartland Jedi or Chicago Jedi do, and just meeting up in houses and all of that. We keep our costs low, which is very modest, and it's pretty much the same way that you perceive as the Jedi were supposed to be, was living a very modest lifestyle. And, okay, if I go into the whole temple thing, it's just going to turn into a rant, so we'll get into that one later. Maybe at a future date, and another speech. Now, I understand that my ideas may not be well received by some. I'm sure that there are Jedi out there that are thinking, or at least, well, okay, some of them may be Jedi, while others may just be scammers, and I'll get into that here in a second. They might be thinking, I really want to make this into my career, and now you're telling me I shouldn't. Okay, so I get that sometimes the best method of living up to be the best Jedi you can is by passing the path on to others. And sometimes you need to do that full time. I get that. I also understand that you might take up a spiritual art aimed at healing people, either physically, psychologically, or spiritually. Some ideas that come to mind are, I actually have met a woman that mixed spirituality with her psychology. And then I've also met people that mix like Reiki with massage therapy, things like that. So these are all okay. They're their only form of income, and they mix things together. They're not just saying, hey, I'm going to heal you, and then they just kind of walk away and pretend like they're praying for you. Or giving you snake oil. Then you have the whole idea of what this one guy did. What he's doing, I should say. So there's this order. And the guy is claiming that he's teaching the Jedi path, but he's selling his electronic book for well over 1,000 euro. Now, for those of you that don't understand the logistics there, if you want to translate that into American terms, The euro closed out today on 3 September 2014 at $1.31. So, well over $1,310 just for an electronic book. And it doesn't even have 1,000 pages in it. Now, it doesn't matter how you rationalize trying to sell that ebook. Doesn't matter. He's a scam artist. No, I swear, if any of you guys happen to find that order, which I'm not going to tell you who it is, because it would be in very ill form, and honestly, I don't want you going there. But if you happen to stumble across it, don't buy into it, because that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Then you got this other school. He's trying to teach the different kinesis. Pyrokinesis, hydrokinesis, aerokinesis, telekinesis, the kinesises. And I don't know what else he's trying to teach, but I know that those are the big 4. 5. Whatever. The point is he's trying to teach something that even in video he doesn't have. Some of you might remember my Force Powers video from a few years ago, and if you don't, you can probably find it. It's not that long. It's probably actually shorter than this one. But the guy that inspired that video, he's got his own order now, and he charges, so he's got like these 3 tiers that you can charge, and one of them's like $19.95, another one's like $29.95, and the other one's $69.95, and those are your monthly fees after a 7-day trial. And it's all supposed to help you learn the kinesises and whatnot. I think you see what I'm trying to go with that. Don't like it. And what's my response to that? Okay, so here's my response. Right? Temple of the Jedi Force, Karen Schwab Ticknar, actually teaches free online curriculum for those seeking to connect to the Force. And she does that free of charge. Oh, yeah, free of charge. If you want to get involved in one of those classes, you can come on to the Jedi Church on Facebook, and on occasion she'll come in there and she'll announce that she's about to start up a whole new class, a whole new curriculum. Again, for free. And then you also have my friend Charles, and he runs the podcast, The Labyrinth, on Nights of Awakening, which you can find at KOA Axiom. So KOAAXIOM.com. Again, free of cost, and he'll teach you mysticism and whatnot from his school of thought. And, you know, it's also something to note that in the community, given the nature of what we are, there is definitely no shortage of people that are willing to talk to you and explore the concept of supernatural phenomena. They will give you tips. They will even be the kind of person that you just bounce ideas off of. You might even try, if you want to try after telepathy for experimentation to see if you can get it to work and if it's any use. You could probably talk to them, and then they will experiment with you on that. It's just kind of the nature of our community. So, you know, hey, there's that. You don't have to pay anything for it. We're there, willing to help, willing to work with you on it. Because, hey, we all want to explore the subject, too. It would be really cool to have all these Force powers. I mean, honestly, if I could do telekinesis, ISIS would not be a problem. Not at all. They'd be terrified. And then I could just lead a Jedi convoy out there. Okay, a little bit of humor there, but yeah. So you can see where I'm going with that. And all it would cost for that is basically the same amount of money that you're using to watch this YouTube video. Just whatever the cost of the internet is. So, at the end of the day, I want it to be known that I really do feel, and I don't think there's many people in the community that would disagree with me, that the Jedi path is not self-serving. The Sith path is. And we're fine with the Sith doing that. Because we're actually good friends. Just so you know. Just so that's clear. We're not enemies. But if you want to be self-serving, you can go and you can join the Sith. And you can find something that works there. They also explore the spirituality thing too. and you can capitalize that way. And I also want it to be known that, hey, we're action-based faith, which is one of the reasons why I have my book donating towards something in the community, and the future book that I'm working on donating to another charity. It's all about giving to the society, not giving back, simply giving. With that in mind, hopefully this video has done a little bit of its job in awakening the night with in. May the Force be with you.